everyone. So I have another unboxing video to share. It's been a pretty busy week as far as receiving new collections, new pieces on consignment. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. This is a collection in a box. So I know that I've received 4 swords here with this latest shipment. There are 3 Shinto blades and 1 Koto blade in this package. So let me go through and share a little bit of information about what's coming in, and I'll take out the individual pieces after this. So we have, looks like 4 kanteisho, 4 papers from the MBTHK. I believe they're all Tokubetsu Hozon. So starting with this one, we have a Tokubetsu Hozon katana by Kuda. This is Etchu Kuda, smith working in the school that resided in Etchu province, descended from Go Yoshihiro, Norishige, Tamatsugu, and this blade is Tushaku Tusun Tubu, so around 68.5 centimeters. We have a Tokubetsu Hozon wakizashi, and this is a Nidai or 2nd generation Hizen Masahiro. Blade is signed Hishu Kawachi no Kami Fujiwara Masahiro. So this is the signature that's used by the 2nd generation Masahiro. We have a Tokubetsu Hozon katana by his father. So this is the 1st generation Hizen Masahiro. The Mei is Hizen no Kuni Kawachi Daijo Fujiwara Masahiro. And the last blade we have is a Tokubetsu Hozon Shinto wakizashi. And this one is by Iwami Daijo Fujiwara Kunisuke, early part of the Edo period Shinto smith. So all 4 blades are ranked as Tokubetsu Hozon. So again, that's the 2nd tier of papers from the NBTHK. And I'm going to go ahead now and open the package. And I will start with the smallest wakizashi. I think from the size, this is going to be the Kunisuke. So let me go ahead and open up. At some point, I'm going to be doing a video talking about my own shipping methods, but the individual that sent these swords to me used the method that I prefer, which is that the blade itself is wrapped in plastic for shipment. The reason for doing this is that the blade can move around inside the saya during shipment, and depending on how it's moving around, the amount of motion, whether there's a tight point of contact in the saya, the polish itself can be damaged in shipment. So my preference is that I will always oil the blade generously and then wrap it in plastic for shipment so that the polish itself is protected. So here we have the Kunisuke, as I expected. It's a very nice piece. It's a Mitsumune blade. Mitsumune, as I've discussed in past videos, is something that was used by Nanbokuchō period and late Emperor Nanbokuchō period smiths, including Soshu schools. So many times if you're seeing a Soshu Utushimono, or blade that was following the style of early Soshu or related schools like Shizu, Naoi Shizu, you'll see Mitsumune, as this blade has. I have also done a video where I talked a little bit about korimono. So here we have a bonji and a renge. Renge is lotus blossom. Lotus blossom is related to the Nichiren school of Buddhism specifically. And then the bonji is, looks like Fudo is the bonji, which is one of the more common bonji to see in Japanese swords. And the blade it's a Soshuden blade, so it has a mirare hamon. I'll go ahead and show a video showing some of the workmanship in detail and take photos and put them on my website. And the blade is by Iwami Daijo Fujiwara Kunisuke. So Iwami Daijo Fujiwara Kunisuke was the brother, I believe the younger brother of the first generation Kawachi Daijo Kunisuke. And he studied, if I recall correctly, under both his brother Kunisuke and also Horikawa Kunihiro. Kunihiro school was very versatile. They worked in a number of different traditions. They were excellent at doing work in the style of Koto works, especially Soshuden related. And this blade is a Soshu style blade, kind of a Nanbokuchō Soshu Utushimono, and beautiful piece, beautiful piece. So that's number one. Let me keep going through and take out some of the other pieces that I received. Let me see if I can bring out the wakizashi next, other wakizashi. A lot of loose bubble wrap here, but the blades themselves are only loosely wrapped, so they're going to be easy to take out. So we have, I believe that's the other wakizashi, and then we have one more katana. So let me start with the next wakizashi. And this is, as we saw from the Kante show, a wakizashi by the second generation Hizen Masahiro. So the Hizen school of sword making is famous primarily for the main line. The main line used the mei of Tadayoshi and Tadahiro intermittently across the generations. And this blade is by the sideline school, Waki Hizen school, that's most closely connected with the main line. And I'll tell a little bit about the background, and it's going to be more relevant when we get to the first generation katana. There was a gap in the lineage of teacher and student with the Hizen Tadayoshi school. So the first generation Tadayoshi, who also used the name Musashi Daijo Tadahiro, became ill later in his life, and he didn't have the strength and the ability to directly teach his young son, Omi Daijo Tadahiro. So first generation Masahiro ended up both assisting in making swords for the first generation Tadayoshi, and also was the mentor for Omi Daijo Tadahiro, a second generation Tadahiro. So he was kind of an intermediary in the main line. So first generation Tadayoshi, first generation Masahiro assisted the master, taught his son Omi Daijo Tadahiro, and he also was signing blades Tadahiro on behalf of his master as well. So he was a stepping stone in the main line. And this is by the son of the first generation Hizen Masahiro, and this is the second generation Hizen Masahiro who used the inscription Kawachi no Kami Masahiro. So the blade is, it's a typical Hizento work. The forging is a very tight itame called Kunugahara that was a representative forging pattern, and the hamon is generally straight, suguha based. The Masahiro lineage is known for abunome gonome, which is a dragonfly shaped gonome pattern. They occasionally did suguha, and this is an example of a suguha, and this is closer to the way that the mainline school worked. So beautiful piece. Let me go ahead and move on then to the next sword. And we have a first generation Masahiro here and a Kuda katana. So as I mentioned, these are just loosely wrapped. Usually when I'm shipping personally, the blades are kind of tightly wrapped in bubble wrap, but everything appears so far to have arrived safely. Okay, and this one appears to be the first generation Masahiro, so it's good. This is the one that I wanted to show in the video next. So, as I mentioned, first generation Masahiro was the student of first generation Tadayoshi. He was directly involved in continuing the teaching of the main line, going out to the second generation Tadahiro. But also he was the adopted son of the first generation Tadayoshi himself. So he was part of the direct lineage. So he had an adoptive relationship with the first generation. And also his father Yoshinobu was married to first generation Tadayoshi's daughter as well. So that makes him both the grandson and the adopted son of first generation Tadayoshi. This is going to require a close-up video, so I'm not going to be able to show the workmanship in great detail. But this blade has that representative Masahiro gunome, so it's a very active gunome with a couple of paired gunome next to each other. It's like the eyes of a dragonfly side by side, and really great depth of activity. So I can see the workmanship kind of goes down to the edge all along the blade. Now, he worked in the early Edo period. This blade is very representative of a kanbun Shinto shape. So it has very shallow sori, relatively straight blade. Kanbun period was 1661, so in roughly the middle of the 17th century. And this blade is ubu, unshortened, signed, Kawachi Daijo, Fujiwara Masahiro. And the differentiation in terms of the signature between many of the first generation and second generation is that the first generation used the title, formal title Daijo, so Kawachi Daijo. The second generation used the formal title of Kawachi no Kami. All right, and now this is going to be the last blade that I take out from the set. This is an Echu Kouda blade. Kouda generally indicates a blade that was made during the Nanbokuchō period. So it was one of those smiths that followed Norishige and Tamatsugu, and some of their works can really closely resemble kind of the earlier Echu smiths that were closely connected with Soshu. Norishige was a student of Shinto Kunimitsu. He worked alongside Masamune. He was a smith who worked alongside Go Yoshihiro, another smith from Echu, and then Go Yoshihiro died young, and his son was trained by Norishige as well, so that was Tamatsugu. So those smiths were early Echu, and they were also smiths that were closely connected with early Soshu and the Masamune school. And this blade is a very Soshu looking work. It has an extremely active Midare hamon, so Nie base, Nie crystals all throughout the blade. It's a wild but small dimensioned hamon, or hardened edge along the blade, and it has a long nagasa, long length, and kind of a representative Nanbokuchō shape with an extended kasaki, slightly elongated at the top. So, beautiful sword. Let me go ahead and take out the mountings very quickly as well. This blade does have a koshirai, or mounting. And it's lovely, actually. Bukei-zukuri koshirai, so it's a mounting with the theme of samurai in battle. The Minuki, the Fuchikashira, is of samurai, kind of looking like the Soten school style. The Suba is Sukashi, or openings with a basket weave pattern. And there is a kogai, it's a kind of side implement that you see on the side of the saya, with the family crest of Kirimon. Kirimon were used by a number of different families, but most famously the Toyotomi family. So, beautiful piece. I know this is going to take detailed photos and videos to show the workmanship in these swords, but I will be following up to show more information, more details, more photos and videos on these pieces. They'll be on my website and my channel shortly. So thank you so much for joining, and I will talk to you soon.